Daylight's coming, you can see it beyond the ridge. The clouds are disappearing, the sun's gonna shine again. Daylight's coming, just hold on a little while. Your frown is gonna turn into a smile. You woke up this morning, it's raining again. You wonder if the sun will ever shine. This battle that you're facing is wearing you down. This mountain just takes too much strength to climb. The daylight's coming, you can see it beyond the ridge. The clouds are disappearing, the sun's gonna shine again. Daylight's coming, just hold on a little while. Your frown is gonna turn into a smile. You find yourself in the dark again. The thunder rattles your head, your breath's taken by the wind. When you're ready to give up, remember, just hold on. The darkest hour is just before the dawn, and daylight's coming. You can see it beyond the ridge. The clouds are disappearing, the sun's gonna shine again. Daylight's coming, just hold on a little while. Your frown is gonna turn into a smile. Oh yeah, God hasn't failed you yet, and He loves you just the same. So keep trusting in the Savior. See the rainbow past the rain. As daylight's coming, you can see it beyond the ridge. The clouds are disappearing, the sun's gonna shine again. Daylight's coming, just hold on a little while. Your frown is gonna turn into a smile. Daylight's coming, you can see it beyond the ridge. The clouds are disappearing, the sun's gonna shine again. Daylight's coming, just hold on a little while. Your frown is gonna turn into a smile. Daylight's coming, oh, just hold on. Daylight's coming. Here's an old 1980s country tune we took and wrote a song to it called The Old Family Bible. Sitting in the corner of my old living room was our old family Bible that we had since '82. Its pages were ripped and torn and stained with Mama's tears. She held it tight as she prayed for me throughout my childhood years. And Mama held the words of Jesus while Daddy held her hand, praying for her wayward child to find the promised land. And now that I am older, I look back to see the words in that family Bible gave Mama hope to pray for me. How many of you are thankful for that old family Bible and for Mom and Daddies that loved us enough to share Jesus with us? Amen. Now Mama opened that tattered book every single day. I walked in on her several times, holding it as she prayed. She said, Father, forgive him and bring my son back to me. Just to give him one more chance, Lord, reunite our family. And Mama held the words of Jesus while Daddy held her hand, praying for her wayward child to find the promised land. And now that I am older, I look back to see the words in that family Bible gave Mama hope to pray for me. Now God must have listened when he heard my mama pray, 'cause in the spring of '96, Mama's boy got saved. And Mama held the words of Jesus while Daddy held her hand, praying for her wayward child to find the promised land. And now that I am older, I look back to see the words in that family Bible gave Mama hope to pray for me. Yes, it's that old family Bible gave Mama hope to pray for me. How's everybody in Maggie Valley, North Carolina doing this morning? Everybody smiling and profiling? How many of y'all believe it's all right to smile a little bit? I'm worried about some of you because you ain't smiled at me yet. All right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at somebody right beside of you on your left. Now, some of y'all just got confused what your left and right was, all right? I want you to look at somebody on your left, smile at them real big, give them the biggest smile you've ever seen. If you don't have nobody beside you, pretend that's going to be your imaginary friend the rest of the morning, all right? I want you to smile at them, give them a big old smile and say, "Boy, you looking awful purty this morning." Now, some of y'all get that in a minute, too, because it's not morning, it's afternoon, but we'll get to that. They've been aggravating me about that all day. I have been calling it morning, and she looked at me and she said, "You do know it's after lunch, right?" I said, "I'm still on Central Time. We don't know no better, amen?" All right, here's what I want you to do. Now, we can't leave the people on our right out. I want you to look at them real big, give them a big smile. If you don't have nobody on your right, what are you going to do? Pretend that's your imaginary friend. Now, if you don't have nobody on either side of you, all we got left to do is pray for you at this point. All right, that's just about it. So I want you to smile at them, give them the biggest smile you've given everybody and anybody in your life, and say, "I am so glad you got to see me today." There you go. Awesome. Aren't you glad to know that we can put a smile on our face? And we've got a reason to smile. Why? Because we as Christians should be the happiest people in the world. Why? Because we're so blessed. And we're blessed in ways that honestly, that we don't even imagine. And so we're thankful to be here with you guys this morning, and I hope and pray that by the end of today's event that you guys will enjoy the music that you heard and the stories and the testimonies that I get to share for you here in just a little bit. Now, real quickly, let me ask you this. How many of you have never seen Shellem Cline live in person before? If that's you, raise your hand. Wow. Keep your hands up. I want everybody to look around. We're going to go straight into the altar call because every one of you is lying. I'm standing right here, and I've already sung you 2 songs, so you can't say that no more. So we're just going to go ahead and do the invitation right now, darling. All right, there you go. So needless to say, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Shellem Cline, originally from a small town of Troutman, North Carolina. Grew up in Troutman, and about 5 years ago, moved to a little town called Lenoir, North Carolina, which obviously is in the mountains of North Carolina. And we travel now all across the country in what they call Christian country music. What does that mean? It means I get to wear my blue jeans and my cowboy boots and sing about Jesus. Amen. Sign me up. All right? And so we travel all across the country, about 150 dates a year nationwide, doing that. And I'm also a songwriter for a lot of today's artists as well. And currently right now, we are on a tour called Everyone Has a Story. God laid this idea on my heart back in May of 2018. And it's this simple thought. Everyone has a story that God can use for a testimony. Now think about that with me just for a little bit. Everyone has a story that God can use for a testimony. Now, how many of y'all are book readers? When you read books, what happens to that main character? There's always the drama that makes the book good, right? Is that right? Y'all got to talk to me. I can't see you from up here. All right, thank you. All right. So here we are, we've got a main character, and there's a lot of drama that surrounds them. Well, as Christians, we've got the good, the bad, and the ugly. We only like to share the good parts, but it's the bad and the ugly that's God's favorite time to move. Why? Because in the bad and the ugly times in our life, there's nobody else to take credit but Him when things turn back around and God turns it in for our good. Because what does the Bible say? All things work together for what? For them that love the Lord. And you know, as a Christian this morning, no matter what you're going through, can I tell you, you've got a reason to smile. Why? Because even in the good, the bad, and the ugly, God's still God. Amen? Amen. This next song I want to share with you goes right along with that thought, called Bad's Not Really Bad. Now, like I said a little minute ago, I'm also a songwriter. A lot of the songs that you're going to hear this morning, I've actually written. And we were in Nashville, me and a buddy of mine who's a songwriter, and he's a Baptist preacher's kid like me. Any other PKs in here? There we go. That's right. Do y'all know that with the PKs, the preacher's kids, are always the ones getting blamed for it on everything? But it's not our fault. The deacon's kids are the ones that got the preacher's kids in trouble. Somebody say amen right there now. All right. How many deacon's kids do we have in here? Oh, there's only one of them, and he ain't raising his hand. That's what's happening. All right. So we'll blame them. How about that? That worked. These ladies right here, yeah, we're on the same page. All right, we got it going. So here we are. We went over, and he told me, he said, man, I'm about to starve. And I was like, well, let's go get some food. We had about an hour or so before our next writing session. And we got there, and there was this man and woman that had got there. Obviously, we were in Nashville, and this man and woman walked in, and she was all prim and proper. She had about 50 pounds of makeup. She's the reason Mary Kay's in business, and just had everything going. I mean, she was just dominating everything, and she was just smiling and having a good morning. And all of a sudden, her husband ordered a cup of coffee and took that swig of coffee, and when he set it down, he dropped it. And it went all over him, all over his wife, the floor and everything. And that sweet, wonderful, godly woman, she gave him that look of, I can't hurt you in public, but you just wait till we get out of here. How many of you men have seen that look that I'm talking about here this afternoon? And how many of you women will admit that you have given that look that I'm talking about here this afternoon? So everybody's on the same page now. Here we go. So I'm telling you, we grabbed every napkin we could find, and he finally looked over at his wife, and he said, darling, bad's not really bad when you love Jesus. And she looked at him, and she said, what do you mean? He said, well, do you love Jesus? And she said, yes. He said, then you can't be mad at me because you're a Christian and you're not supposed to be. She looked at him, and she said, darling, my Bible tells me that the Lord got angry but didn't sin. I'm angry, and I'm doing my best not to sin right now. What did we do? We turned around and we created this little song right off of that said, bad's not really bad when he's the best thing you ever had. Taking some different stories from different folks just like me and you that's going through things in our life. See if this happens to any of you. 4 years down the drain, she told me pack up and move away. Was all this my fault? The job that supported my family moved the plan overseas. Where did life go wrong? But even on the worst day of my life, God was still right by my side. 'Cause bad's not really bad when he's the best thing you ever had. And it took some time to see that sad's not really sad when you realize everything you have, even if they're only memories. Time rolls by and life's too short to carry weight in old remorse. 'Cause bad's not really bad. Bad's not really bad. Storm destroyed our little town, leveled everything to the ground. But at least we all were saved. We lost everything in the fire, wrapped around the tree when we blew the tire. But at least we were okay. And even on the worst day of our lives, God was still right by our side. 'Cause Bad's not really bad when he's the best thing you ever had. And it took some time to see that sad's not really sad when you realize everything you had, even if they're only memories. Time rolls by and life's too short to carry weight and old remorse. This bad's not really bad. Bad's not really bad. If I'd have known then what I know now, I'd see you learn the most when you're down. 'Cause bad's not really bad when he's the best thing you ever had. And it took some time to see that sad's not really sad when you realize everything you had, even if they're only memories. Time rolls by and life's too short to carry weight and old remorse. 'Cause bad's not really bad. But bad's not really bad. Bad's not really bad. How many of y'all like to laugh? How many of y'all know somebody that if they was to laugh, the entire world would shut down right then? Everybody knows somebody like that, right? Well, I want to share this with you. I've got a couple fun songs I'm going to share with you, if that's all right. But this song is one that this sweet little lady, I was down in Mississippi and just got finished singing and got home. And, you know, when you travel and you sing all of your life, you know, your work week isn't Monday through Friday. You think Thursday through Sunday or get home on Monday, and Tuesday, Wednesdays are my Saturday and Sundays. All right, that's kind of how it works. So I'm sitting at my house there in my recliner, and I get on America's Gossip Column, because I call it, well, Facebook, but that's what it is. It's America's Gossip Column. And I got on there, and a sweet little lady popped up on my messenger, and she said, "Shellem, I saw you at my church this week." And she said, "The Lord has told me it is your job to help me out." And I sent her a message back, and I said, "Well, darling, what did the Lord tell you I need to help you with?" She said, "You need to go to my GoFundMe page, and you need to donate. And if you donate to my GoFundMe page, the Lord will bless you like none other. But if you don't, you can kiss your music career goodbye, because you ain't singing no more." And I was like, "Well, that's awful mean." So I told her, I said, "Darling," I said, "you go ahead and send me the little link, and I'll look at it. That's fine." And she sent it over to me. And folks, you know that, how many of y'all know what a GoFundMe page is? Everybody, all right, y'all on the same page. You know, there's some good ones, and then there's some make you scratch your head. This sweet little woman had one that made you scratch your head, because she wanted me to donate so that she could get a brand new set of teeth for her dog. Folks, I looked at that and I thought to myself, how in the world would I donate to doggy dentures? So I did research. And there's a Doggy Denture Society of America. And guess where their headquarters are at? Washington, D.C. I rest my case, Your Honor. So needless to say, I felt like I didn't feel the Lord leading me to donate to the Doggy Denture Society of America, but I felt the Lord leading me to write a song about this sweet little woman. So if it's all right with you, I'd like to share real quickly a song that I like to call My GoFundMe Page. This day and age we all fundraise for everything under the sun. And I hope y'all all like me, so won't you help me on at least one? Something that I want so bad. Will you please donate? all you need to do is head over to my GoFundMe page. I got a GoFundMe page to help me raise a little dough to get me a goat. I got one for Aunt Lula out in Altoona. She's always wanted a speedboat. Will you help me take a vacation? Or maybe get me some brand new teeth? It doesn't matter which one, just make sure it gets done. Please go to my page and donate. Now it's all over Facebook and even on Twitter too. And I have made it so very easy for you to do what God said to do. Now you go on and get a blessing. One's a coming, you just wait and see. But while you're sitting there waiting, just make that check out to me. I've got a GoFundMe page to help me raise a little dough to get me a goat. I got one for Aunt Lula out in Altoona. She's always wanted a speedboat. Will you help me take a vacation? Or maybe get me some brand new teeth? It doesn't matter which one, just make sure it gets done. Please go to my page and donate. Now you go on and be a Christian. Help a brother with a 20 or two. It doesn't matter which one, just make sure it gets done. I've got bills coming due. Do y'all like the GoFundMe pages? Now I told you I was going to do a couple funny songs and I would try to behave, but I like y'all. Y'all are cool. I like it when people get involved, and half of you smiled at me so far. I'm excited. That's usually 50% more than I usually get. Amen. But this next song, can I do another funny one? She's giving me the look, and I'm scared. I'm just aggravating you. But this next song is one I was actually up in Ohio, and I'd sang in Ohio, and it was kind of funny. The sweet little lady came up to me afterwards, and she said, "I thought you were a Christian country artist." And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." She said, "Well, somebody lied to you." And I said, "Well, what makes me not Christian country?" She said, "Every Christian country artist, if you're going to have country in your name, you've got to have a good love song." She said, "And I didn't hear one." And I said, "Well, darling," I said, "you give me a love song and I'll sing it for you next time." She's like, No. She said, "You're a songwriter. You need to write it." She said, "Unless you just don't know how." That's a challenge accepted. So I went back. We had the band that week, and I got in the back of the bus, and I sat down. I said, "Boys," I said, I've got to write me a love song, something that's going to be special." And so I went to the back of the bus and started writing, and everything I came up with was as dumb as it could be. And I was like, I ain't singing none of this. So when we have this writer's block, every songwriter out there has a writer's food, is what we call it. Mine just happens to be 7 scoops of vanilla ice cream and 13 golden vanilla Oreos mixed in a bowl. And so I went and I got my ice cream and my Oreos out. And folks, I took about 3 bites. And when I did, there was a song that hit me. I sat down, I started writing. And when I got done, I looked at it and a tear came rolling right down my face. Why? Because I knew I had just written the love song of the century. So how many husbands and wives do we have here? Some of y'all are too nervous and scared to raise your hand. All right, all you men, I want you to reach over and grab your wife by the hand. Now, if your wife don't sit beside of you, then don't grab the lady beside of you by the hand, just your wife, all right? And I want you to smile at them real big. Give them that smile. Pretend like you like them for 3 minutes and 9 seconds. That's all I'm asking, all right? Smile real big and say, "Darling, I love you." Wow, that was really good, guys. I didn't hear one person say it, all right? Let's try that again. "Darling, I love you more than ice cream." Here's my version of a love song. I'll tell you what my wife said about it after the song, okay? Well, you know that I love apple pie, donuts and ice cream too, but none of them could ever compare to the love I've got for you. You see, darling, you're my sugar babe. You help me reach my goals. You're the fruit that's in my fruit cake and the chocolate in my Tootsie Rolls. I love you more than ice cream, more than the pies Martha makes downtown. You make my belly tumble in the mornings and you make my world go round. Yes, I love you more than ice cream. You're the best it's ever been. You're the cornmeal in my cornbread, and darling, you're my best friend. What y'all think so far? Y'all think it's better than an Elvis song? No? All right. Let's see if I can impress you here on this one. Every day they'll see, well, my whole world just stops. I'm not very good at the Elvis leg, but when you give me that sweet kiss, my world, it just stops. And you know that I really love my vanilla Oreos, but I trade them all for just one more night when you're freezing my leg with your toes. Oh, I love you more than ice cream, more than the pies Martha makes downtown. You make my belly tumble in the mornings and you make my world go round. Yes, I love you more than ice cream. You're the best that's ever been. You're the cornmeal in my cornbread, and darling, you're my best friend. You're the cornmeal in my cornbread, and darling, you're my best friend. All right, I'm going to do a song now that was actually, there was a music video done to this song back in 2017 in a little town, I don't know if y'all have heard of it, called Maggie Valley, North Carolina. Anybody ever heard of that? Some of y'all may have seen this. I know they've played the video a couple times during the church services, but I want to share this with you. This was my very first #1 song back in 2016, 2017. It was the #1 song in Christian country music for 2 straight months. We call it Blue Jeans and Biscuits. A record man called me up and he told me I could sing. So I packed my bags and headed out to Nashville, Tennessee. But it only took a couple days to see this is not where I belong. So when my best friend Michael called me, I told him I wanted to come home and give me blue jeans and biscuits with gravy on the side, and give me that old church house where the steeple's raised real high, and give me all the family gatherings and some of Mama's sweet tea. Give me blue jeans and biscuits, 'cause that's how God made me. How I want to go back to that house there on the farm. Cozy Saturday mornings with my wife in my arms. I really miss those summer nights when we would sing out in the rain. 'Cause all I hear in this city is cussing, cars, and planes. So give me blue jeans and biscuits with gravy on the side, and give me that old church house where the steeple's raised real high, and give me all the family gatherings and some of Mama's sweet tea. Give me blue jeans and biscuits, 'cause that's how God made me. Now you can try to make me city-fied, accept it socially, but friend, there ain't no way that you can take the country out of me. So give me blue jeans and biscuits with gravy on the side, and give me that old church house where the steeple's raised real high, and give me all the family gatherings and some of Mama's sweet tea. Give me blue jeans and biscuits, but you can keep your collard greens. Give me all the family gatherings and some of Mama's sweet tea. Give me blue jeans and biscuits, 'cause that's how God made me. Yeah, that's how God made me. How many of y'all like washing dishes? Anybody like washing dishes? Oh, there's some of you. I'm going to mail my dishes to y'all that raised your hand, all right? Can I tell you, when I was growing up, my mom didn't like giving me whoopings. She just, every time I got in trouble, she was like, guess who just scored themselves a night of washing dishes? My mama had an ulterior motive, put it that way, all right? And can I tell you that I despise washing dishes? And when I bought my house 5 years ago, I called my mom. I said, Mama, I don't know what I'm more excited about, if I was washing, or because obviously of all the dishwashing in my life. I said, I don't know what I'm more excited about, just buying the house or the house that's got a dishwasher in it. Amen? But God's got a sense of humor. Because about 3 months ago, my dishwasher went out. So guess who's back to washing dishes? Not this guy, because I go to the Walmart and get the red Solo cups and the paper plates. Amen. All right? I got smart in my years, okay? So here we are. We've got this thing going on, and obviously we had the Everyone Has a Story album that we were going to be working on. And I went down, got my mama one day. My parents lived down in the Statesville, North Carolina area, and I went and picked my mama up, and we were driving or whatever, and all of a sudden, a buddy of mine from Nashville called me up. He said, man, he said, we've got this song. He said, another artist has recorded it. He said, but this song's got your name on it for Christian country music. He said, and I want you to take it and use it. And I said, all right, man, send it over. I'll take a listen to it. And I said, what's the name of it? He said, Dirty Dishes. I looked at my mom and I said, I ain't singing no song called Dirty Dishes. It ain't happening. And my mama, being the good Christian woman that she is, smiled real big and she said, now, son, you told him you'd listen to it, and I want to hear it, so I'm going to need you to play it. So what did I do? I played it for her, and I knew I was in trouble by the end of the first verse. My mama sitting in my front seat, boo-hooing. And then she looked at me at the end of the song. She said, I don't care if you liked it or if you hated it. You're going to sing it because I'm your mama, and I'm telling you, you're going to, all right? And I said, all right, Mom. So needless to say, what I did was every year when I release a new album, which is the very first of the year, and start our tour, 15 minutes before I go on for our big album release event, I always give my mom the very first copy that she's got. And I handed it to her this year, and I said, Mom, on this album, there's 9 amazing songs. And then there's that one that my mama made me do. And my mama looked at me, and she said, son, you've got it wrong. There's 9 mediocre songs that my son wrote, and then there's that one that Mama saved him on because she knows what's best. Well, apparently Mama knows something, because this is my current radio single. It's currently went to the #1 spot on the national chart. It's the new #1 song in Christian country music for this month, and we just found out it has been nominated and in the top 5 for Song of the Year, the Christian Country Song of the Year, through the Lighthouse Christian Music Association, one of the big
associations. And when I called my mama and told her, do you know what she said? I told you so. Mama's always right, I guess, right? I'm going to share this song with you. Some of you may have heard this on your local radio station. I know a lot in this area has been playing it. Hope you guys have heard it. If you know it, sing along with me. Little song we like to call Dirty Dishes. Mama hollers supper time, and don't make me tell you twice, wash your hands and wipe your face. The table's no place for your toys, and try to use your inside voice. Don't dig in till we say grace. So we put down our forks and bowed our heads. Then she prayed the strangest prayer ever said. I want to thank you, Lord, for noisy children and slamming doors, and clothes scattered all over the floor. A husband working all the time, dragging in dead tired at night. A never-ending messy kitchen and dirty dishes. We all got real still and quiet, and Daddy asked, "Hun, are you all right?" She said, "There ain't nothing wrong." Noisy kids are happy kids, and slamming doors just means we live in a warm and loving home. Your long hours and those dishes in the sink means a job and enough to eat. So I'm gonna thank you, Lord, for noisy children and slamming doors, and clothes scattered all over the floor. A husband working all the time, dragging in dead tired at night. A never-ending messy kitchen. My little busy babes begging, "Mama, Mama, can you please?" Always wanting me and calling me. Loads of laundry piling up, crayons crushed into the rug, and those little sticky kisses. And dirty dishes. Dirty dishes. Here's the title track of our album and our tour this year, and I want you to listen to the words of this song. Everyone has a story. Somewhere right now, sitting in a lonely room, is a young man filled with hurt, his heart black and blue. The gun is in his hand, the trigger ready to be drawn. Then he hears a friend on the other end of the phone. And everyone has a story, every day we write a page. Some filled with joy and laughter, many with hatred and heartbreak. People around us are hurting, let's share the hope that set us free. Everyone has a story God can use for a testimony. Everyone has a story God can use for a testimony. Somewhere right now the kids are tucked in bed. Mom and Dad's on round 3. The battle's raging again. He walks out for the last time. This house just ain't a home. The kids run down the stairs, hugging Mom 'cause Daddy's gone. And everyone has a story. Every day we write a page. Some filled with joy and laughter, many with hatred and heartbreak. People around us are hurting. Let's share the hope that set us free. Everyone has a story God can use for a testimony. Everyone has a story God can use for a testimony. So no matter where you are right now, in your weakness you're made strong. God can take your story, and victory is your song. 'Cause everyone has a story. Every day we write a page. Some filled with joy and laughter, many with hatred and heartbreak. People around us are hurting. Let's share the hope that set us free. Everyone has a story God can use for a testimony. Everyone has a story God can use for a testimony.
You know, folks, I'm going to take just a moment, and I'd like to share with you the reason why everyone has a story is the title of our album and our tour for this year. I wrote that song about 3 years ago for a Christian country band out in Oklahoma. And I had absolutely no clue what God was going to do then, because about 5 days before, that lead singer from that Christian country band called me up and he said, we're disbanding and we're just going to give you your song back. And I was kind of upset because I was like, even if I did write it, that was a pretty cool little song. It's got a good story to it. And it's a song that goes about what people are actually going through in their life today. And so I stuck it back in my catalog. I've written over 600 songs since I was 12 years old. Have had so many different artists, not only myself, but other artists in different genres record various songs of mine, and just kind of forgot about it. For 3 years straight, people called me up, asked me for this song, looking for things with this theme and everything, and opened that book thousands of times, but never saw this song until the day that God gave me this idea in May of 2018 that everyone has a story. So why don't we share it? So I went to my book. I opened up that catalog, and the very first song that I opened up to was Everyone Has a Story that I just sang for you. Pulled that song out, listened to the demo, and I was like, yeah, that would go right along with it. But I had absolutely no clue what God was preparing me for. You see, in June of last year, I was able to land a major record deal in Christian country music with Tire Swing Records. It was a big one. I was going to get to record and travel the world. Everything looked great. Landed a publishing deal with my songwriting. People actually liked what I was doing. And to the outside world, to everybody that was looking in, Shellem had it made. But in August of 2018, Satan himself started fighting in ways that I would have never imagined. Started using people in my life that I would have never, ever thought would have turned their back on me, but they did. Looked me right in the face and said, you know, this whole Christian country thing's nothing more than a joke. And you're an embarrassment to us, and so we just don't even want to deal with you. And folks, for 2 straight months, the whole month of September, the whole month of October, in every church that I stood in, every fair, every festival, every theater, everywhere I went, right before I walked out onto that platform, I put the fakest smile you'd have ever found on my face. And I faked it till I made it. Why? Because this was my job, and this was what I was supposed to do. Because, you know, when you're up here, even in Christian music, you're a minister. And it's our job to have that smile and let you guys know that, you know what, no matter what you're going through, God's still God. But sometimes, folks, can I be honest with you? When you're sitting in this seat, things get a little rough, and sometimes you start questioning things that you're talking about. Anybody ever been there? Whole month of September, whole month of October, I faked it. And on November the 1st of 2018, I got to the point in my life to where I was hurt. I was more than hurt. I was told that my life didn't even matter. And so at the very end of November 1st, about 8 o'clock that night, I lived the first verse of that song, and I was the guy that sat in my driveway thinking, what's the use of going on? I was the guy in the first verse of that song that I had written 3 years before. Now, as I was growing up, I'd always have these crazy song ideas. Song like the Irish Watermelon. Different stuff like that. And every time I'd come up with one of these crazy ideas for a song, or better yet, a crazy idea to get my music out there and let the world know everything, I'd always go and tell my mama, and my mama had this saying, son, whatever you feel best, I'll support you. And as I sat there in my driveway that night, now obviously my mom and dad knew the pain and struggle I was going through. They knew what Satan was using in my life to try to tear me down. But that moment, my mom and dad had no clue how bad it had actually gotten. And as I'm sitting there, all I needed was to hear that phrase from my mama, because this is what I thought was best. So I called my mom up and I said, Mom, I'm done. I don't want to sing anymore. I don't want to write. I said, I'm done. I don't care. Why? Because nobody else cares what I'm doing. And I'm not affecting anybody, so what's the use of wasting my time? And that's what I told her. And I stopped and I paused and I waited for my mom to say that line. And you know what my mom said? Well, let me get on Facebook and tell all my friends my son's a quitter. That's not the line that I was expecting my mama to say. And I said, Mama, what are you doing? I said, you're mocking me. She's like, no. She said, if you're going to quit, you're going to be a quitter, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And then she made the statement of all statements, which was, I guess that means your little brother's my new favorite son. And folks, them are Baptist fighting words right there. My mom told me, she said, son, think about it. She said, how many souls did you see saved in 2018? At that time, there were 16 precious souls come to know the Lord as their Savior. And my mom said, son, do those 16 not matter? And you know what I told her? I said, Mom, Billy Graham had 16 people saved as they were walking through the gate before the congregation even started singing. And my mom said, son, God didn't call you to be Billy Graham. He called you to be Shellem Cline, and that's your story. Then she asked me, she said, do you love me? And I said, of course. And she said, well, if you love me, she said, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. And I said, what? She said, I want you to give God 24 hours. She said, if God doesn't give you a neon sign in 24 hours, she said, you can quit and I won't say a word. She said, but I want you to know I'm a praying mama, and He likes us. She said, so let's see how quick you lose. So what did I do? I got up out of my driveway and I walked in my house. And I'm thinking the whole time, God, do something in 24 hours. Come on now. That ain't going to happen. How many of you ever thought that? Anybody ever thought that? Like you were up against a deadline. You're like, Lord, there ain't no way. Anybody ever thought that? Y'all must be way more religious than me. That's all I'm saying. But you know, I got up, walked in that house, and I got a pizza out of the freezer. Stuck a pizza in the oven, and by the time that I put that pizza in the oven, I had a text message on my cell phone. It was from a friend of mine. He said, man, I saw this today, and it's got your name all over it, and this is what it said. A warrior must fight the toughest battles to even be recognized as a warrior. Now think about that just a second. A warrior must fight the toughest battles even to be recognized as a warrior. Why? Because think about American history. We just celebrated Independence Day. Think about American history. Who did we learn about? And why did we learn about them? Was it because of the number of donuts they ate? No. It was because of the things they had to go through to win and make America what it is today. So what did I do? I became the typical Christian right there. I looked up and I said, Lord, that's a coincidence. You're going to have to do better than that. Anybody ever done that? You know what I'm talking about, right? And now God only had 23 hours and 40 minutes left. I got that pizza out of the oven, started cutting it. When I did, I got a phone call from a good friend of mine I went to high school with, a couple years of college, and he's now a chaplain down at one of the military bases. And he went off into the military after our second year of college. And big old boy, I remember one time I was a junior in high school, and there was this guy I didn't like. I didn't like him at all. And I looked at my buddy, and I said, you see that boy? And he said, yeah. I said, he's breathing my air. Can you go get it back for me? And he went and beat him up, and I stood there and laughed. He was that type of friend. I mean, he was one of those where he could probably hurt me with his pinky. You know what I mean? He tells me all the time now, he says, man, he said, I'm going to tell you. He said, that was back in my heathen days. I'm a Christian now. I don't do stuff like that no more. But he called me up out of the blue. Had no clue what was going on in my life. He called me up and he said, man, he said, you've been on my mind all day long. He said, so I just need to know. He said, I know that I'm overreacting. He said, but I just want to ask you. And I said, what's that? He said, are you leaving the ministry? I said, what do you mean? He said, are you ready to quit? Again, this young man had no clue. No clue whatsoever of what I was going through. And I told him, I said, dude, I am. I said, I'm done. I'm tired. He said, well, I'm about to get on a plane. He said, I'm going to come to North Carolina. And he said, when I get back on the plane to come home, he said, one of the two of us is going to be in an awful lot of pain. Can you guess who that individual is going to be? I said, man, you just don't get it. You don't understand. I said, man, I'm wore out. I'm tired. I've had to fight this and do this. And, dude, nobody cares anyway. I could show up at a church, and if I don't go, they're going to continue on. So what am I really doing? And then he made this statement. He said, man, how many times have you been beaten to a pulp to where nobody knows you're even a human? I said, none. He said, then how many times have you been nailed to a cross? And I said, none. He said, so let me get this straight. He said, you're going to quit because things get a little rough. He said, it gets a little aggravating, a little tiring, so you're going to quit. But yet, the one that you're out here proclaiming went all the way and bled and died for you so that you could quit. And then he asked me the question that woke me up, and that was simply this. Now that you're planning on quitting, do you think he feels those nails going in his hands and his feet? And does he hear that crowd cry, crucify again? Because one of his warriors is laying it down because it got a little too tough. Folks, it was at that moment that God picked me up, took me out to the woodshed, and gave me the biggest whooping you've ever seen in your life. It was at this time I was begging to wash dishes to get out of it. But I realized something that day. Every one of us has a story that God can use for a testimony. I called my mama up and I said, Mama, you were right. She said, I know. She said, don't you know praying mamas always are right? But folks, can I tell you, on November 1st of 2018, my life changed. Why? Because I didn't have that fake smile anymore. I had a real one. And boy, I got excited. That next week, I was in Eastern North Carolina that Sunday morning. And I'm telling you, I walked up in that place, and I could have took hell on with a water pistol and took them all out. I was so happy. I'm not kidding you. I was on a roll that morning, and I got to singing. There was about 100 people in there, and it was my goal. This was my thought. That morning, God was going to show up and show off like none other. Everybody was going to be in the altar. I was even thinking the preacher was going to get saved by the time I was done. We were up there just a singing, having ourselves a time. Even on the slow songs, I looked like Dolly Parton up in there, and we were just having a time, and I gave that invitation, and I just knew here they come, and not one person came to that altar that morning. I put the microphone down, and I walked to the back of the church. There was a set of double doors at the back of the church, and I walked back there. Whole time mumbling under my breath, Lord, where were you at? I thought you were going to do something. I just went through something this week that you made me learn. So where were you, Lord? Maybe I was right. Maybe you really don't care. That's what I said. I got through those double doors, and when I did, a 25-year-old young man walked right behind me. As soon as those double doors closed, I turned around. I had a sports jacket on and a shirt kind of like this, and he grabbed me by the shirt and put his finger in my face, and he said, you're the reason, and I'm not dead right now. And I said, what do you mean? He told me that his girlfriend had broke up with him. They'd been together 4 years. He had an engagement ring in his pocket. He was going to propose to her. She broke up with him. And he said that morning, he was on his way to a park that was literally 2/10 of a mile from that church. And he said, if you walk out to my truck right now, you're going to see a gun. And you're going to see a suicide letter laying in my front seat. He said, I was on my way this morning to take care of my plan. He said, but in the parking lot of the church, in this church, he said, I looked over and there was a young man who just simply waved at me. He said, and I got to that park and all I could think about was, why in the world would somebody that don't know who I am wave at me? He said he sat there for about 30 minutes and came back. Pulled in the parking lot of the church and sat there continuing to think. And he said, man, he said, I finally just got up and walked in. He said, never set foot in this church before. And he said, when I walked in there, he said, to my amazement, that same guy that waved at me was singing on the platform. And he said that same guy told his story of what God did just 4 days before. He looked me right in the eyes, and this is what he said. He said, man, he said, my girl may not love me no more. He said, but you know somebody that does. And I'd like to know him too. And right there in the vestibule of that church, I was able to sit down and lead a 25-year-old young man to the Lord. Folks, can I tell you, that morning, Shellem had another plan. I thought that it was going to be Shellem's way, and everybody and their neighbor was going to be in that altar that morning. But God had a different plan. And God wanted me to share my story so I could help somebody. Folks, can I tell you this afternoon, and I promise I got one more song and I'll hush. But can I tell you this afternoon, folks, that every one of us has a story that God can use for a testimony. But we as Christians, many times, and I put myself right in the front, we only want to share the good parts of our life. We don't want to share our faults. We don't want to share our failures. We don't want to share the bad. And we don't want to share the ugly. We just want to share the good. But can I tell you that God's asking us to simply share it all? Why? Because it's the bad and the ugly parts that we have to learn. And then we can go up and talk to somebody that may be going through the exact same thing that you and I have gone through. The only difference is we've got the hope of Jesus Christ, and they don't. And how amazing would it be, just like that young man in eastern North Carolina? How amazing would it be to be able to walk up and share your story and say, man, I've been there. I was right there. And I knew exactly what you were going through. But let me tell you what God did for me and how He changed my bad and ugly back to the good. Everyone has a story. And God wants us to share our story every single day. Not just when we feel like it. Not just the good parts. But every part. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Why? Because He can take glory out of it. You know, they always say good things come through tragedy. Tomorrow night, I'm getting to be a part of an event that's going to show that over in Waynesville, North Carolina. Good things come through tragedy. People's lives are touched through tragedy, and sometimes God's got to use the bad and the ugly in our life to point somebody to the cross. Now, with that being said, let me also give you a little encouragement. If you're going through something here today, and you're fighting like none other, maybe you walked in here this afternoon and you put that fake smile on your face. You may be sitting in your seat right now and you've got that fake smile. Can I tell you? You got a reason to smile today. Why? Because if Satan's fighting you, you're doing something right. Am I right? If Satan's fighting you, you're doing something right. Why? Because he knows we're in the fourth quarter of this thing called life. And he ain't going to waste his time on somebody that's not working for God. So if you're going through something today, do me a favor. Put your head up, put a smile on your face, and go ahead and whop Satan one more time right in the nose. Why? Because our story is going to point Jesus to folks and point folks to the cross. And that is what we as Christians should be doing. My final song for you this afternoon. And you know what? I know it's a Friday afternoon, but I'm going to give you the opportunity because I honestly believe this. I had a good friend of mine, Miss Rhonda Vincent, gave me this idea, and I love it even when I'm not in a church setting, and I'm going to use this. You know, even on a Friday afternoon, I believe God can still move. And maybe you're here this afternoon and you are going through something in your life right now. Maybe the person sitting right beside of you has no clue. Can I tell you that today you can come and just give that to God and walk back to your seat and don't pick it up. Leave it there. God will take care of it. And put that real smile back on your face and get rid of that fake one. Because, folks, I'm going to be honest with you. I was there. And faking it till you make it, it don't get you anywhere. It pushes you back more than it pushes you forward. I want you to think about this last song as I sing for you guys. We got a couple folks that are going to be here. If you need to come pray, they'll pray with you. Maybe you just want to thank God for what He's given you. Maybe you want to thank God for not only the good things in your life, but maybe those dirty dishes. Maybe you want to thank God for the dirty dishes in your life. Because it's through those dirty dishes that God's going to give you something great. Whatever you do, just know this, it's very easy to give up. It's very easy to turn your back and walk the other way and say, I'm through. But when you do you think our Lord and Savior feels the nails? Do you think He still hears that crowd cry again? Because you know what? He loves you. And He loved you enough to go all the way to that cross for you. Do you love Him enough to stay strong in the fourth quarter? Tell me Jesus died for my transgressions, and that He paid that price a long, long time ago.
when He gave His life for me on a hill called Calvary. There's something else that I want to know. Does He still feel the nails every time I fail? Can He hear the crowd cry, crucify again? Am I causing Him pain? Then I know I've got to change. I just can't bear the thought of hurting Him. Seems that I'm so good at breaking promises, and I treat His precious grace so carelessly. But each time He forgives, what if He relieves the agony He felt on that tree? And does He still feel the nails every time I fail? Can He hear the crowd cry, crucify again? Am I causing Him pain? Then I know I've got to change. I just can't bear the thought of hurting Him.
You know this chorus, sing it with me.
Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Holy is the Lord. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Does He still feel those nails every time I fail? Can He hear the crowd cry, crucify again? Am I causing Him pain? I know I've got to change. I just can't bear the thought of hurting Him. Do you still feel the nails every time I fail? Have I crucified You, Jesus, with my sin? Well, I'm tired of playing games. I really want to change. I never want to hurt You, Lord, again. Yes, I'm tired of playing games. I really want to change. I never want to hurt You, Lord, again.
Thank you so much for letting me come and being a part of your afternoon. I hope that something I've sung to you, something I've said has been a blessing to you, and maybe even encouraged you a little bit to be willing to share your story, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and point as many people as you can to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Now, I do want to let you know a couple different things real quick before I turn it over to Him. I do have some CDs and some T-shirts there in the front, and you can stop by there. I'll be back there right after, of course, the event, and I would love to talk with you. I want you to do me a favor. How many of y'all have Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram? If you've got it, raise your hand. All right, here's what I need you to do. I need your help. I need you to go and like Shellem Cline Music. It's SHELLEM C-L-I-N-E Music, Shellem Cline Music, and here's why. My record label asked me last week when I went to sing, if the people tolerated me or they like me. I said, I don't know why. They said, your Facebook page looks like they tolerate you. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to like it so it looks like I got friends. All right, if y'all don't mind doing that, go like the Shellem Cline Music page. You keep up with everything that's going on within our ministry as we travel all across the country. Obviously going to be in the Maggie Valley area a couple more times the remainder of this year. So come on out and join us with that as well. But like I said, do have the CDs and the T-shirts. When you get back there, ask me about the Shell Mart special. All right, it's better than Walmart. Why? Because Walmart don't carry nothing back there that I got. So you come to Shell Mart and pick it up today, all right? Whole lot easier to take that than to take me home with you because I eat a lot. I don't know if y'all can tell that or not, but that's how it goes. But also, on top of that, if you're not doing anything tomorrow evening, I want to give you a very special invitation to join me over at the Creekwood Farm, our Creekwood Farm Park, RV Park there in Waynesville. I actually was with those guys last year, and we had scheduled, of course, an event for tomorrow night a year ago. But obviously, the thing that happened on April 30th of 2019 at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, one of your local heroes, Riley Howe, charged the young man. And honestly, folks, it really got a hold of me. I was in Nashville, Tennessee the night that happened, and got the text, and it broke my heart because, folks, I'm a 49er. I grew up and actually graduated from UNC Charlotte, and I've studied in that exact same room that event took place. And so tomorrow night, we're going to honor and remember the legacy of Riley Howe. I've actually written a song that will be debuted tomorrow night in honor of him. And so you guys come on out tomorrow night. It starts at 6:30. It's at the Creekwood Farm RV Park in Waynesville. I checked MapQuest a while ago before the event happened to make sure I knew what I was talking about. And you guys are 11 minutes and 7 seconds to them from right here where you're at right now. All right. So, but of course, you can get the information there. It is open to the public, but they are advising to be there pretty early if you're interested in that. So bring your lawn chair and come on out because there's been several news affiliates all across the country. Got word today that some folks even up in New York all the way down to Orlando, Florida, had been announcing about this event tomorrow in honor and in memory of Riley Howe, your hometown hero. And so I'm excited to be a part of that and be able to share that brand new song in honor and in memory of him tomorrow night at 6:30. But like I said, make sure you go check Facebook, like Shellem Cline Music. That way it looks like I've got my friends in place. And again, thank you so much for letting me be here with you today. Again, I hope something I've said or something I've sung has been a blessing to you, put a smile on your face, and reminded you it's all right to go and share your story because everyone has a story that God can use for testimony. Thank you so much. You guys have a great rest of the day.